Hello, it's time for me and my buddy again to play a game of Commands and Colors Ancients. This time we have reached the Battle of Mantinea during the Peloponnesian War, 418 BC. And well, last time we played Amphipolis, and the aftermath of that battle was actually a truce, the truce of Nikias. But this battle was actually fought during that period of truce, and it's a large battle, rather. It's a crazy amount of hoplites involved in this battle. So, as also the historical background text tells us here, it's an ironically, it's the greatest hoplite battle during the Peloponnesian War, because it was fought during the truce. And the reason for this battle was that, well, during the truce there were, of course, political things happening behind the other blocks back, so to speak, and one of the things was that the Athenians and the Argives were trying to get Tegea to join their league and snatch it from Peloponnesian League, but more or less. And they have some party within that city that were pro-Athens, Argos. So this was kind of happening during the truce. King Agis II of Sparta was aware of this thing happening and marched out to meet the Argive Athenian army. And, well, they were, first of all, avoiding battle all the time. So the Spartans could not really attack them, they were never able to catch them. Also, King Agis II was kind of pressed. He had some failures during another campaign before this, so he was pressed to get a victory, basically for his honor, and because he was not liked by the public in Sparta because of his failures. So he was eager to get a victory here pretty soon. But since he didn't reach the opposing army outside of Tegea, he went to Mantinea, which is also close by to Tegea, and it's, by the way, located in the central Peloponnesian Peninsula. And we're ravaging the fields, and also was about to flood that city by some river there. And the Argives in the other army, they were kind of angry against their leaders because they didn't, oppose the Spartan army marching up. So they also wanted this battle, more or less. So later on, close by to Mantinea, the armies met. The Spartans did emerge from a wood, which we see here in the bottom of the battle board, and they were kind of surprised that the Athenian Argive army was already arrayed for battle here. So they hastily had to draw up their lines to meet those guys, and they were really close by already. So at that instant, the battle began. And as you can also see here, that when the Spartans did array their lines, they got a gap here in the center left side. I think it was because of the Argive and Athenian line was wider than the Spartans, so they had to match the flanks here. So they stretched out the lines, and by that they got these a gap in the middle. And when the battle started, the Argives and Athenians they did exploit this this gap here and rapidly surrounded these guys and routed them. On the other hand, on the Spartan right, the Spartans got the upper hand. They marched up with these. You see, we have some real Spartan hoplite units here. They marched up and more or less crushed the opposition. So yeah, so that's what we see. And I think these are Spartans. I think these guys are actually Tegeans fighting here. And on this side, well, we have most of these are Argives. I think these guys are Athenians on this flank, and also some Mantineans, I think. Yeah, so, well, that's the story behind the battle. And here we have the Pelagos Wood, which is the place where the Spartans did emerge to the battlefield. So, War Council then. What do we have? Well, we see that the Spartans have more command cards, one more than the Argives, so they will get 3 cards, and the Argives will get 2 cards by my Solitaire rules. We see that the leader is King Agis II, and on the Argive side we have Laches, who's positioned up there. Moreover, we have, as I said, this is a large battle. We will fight the 8 banners, so I expect this to take some time, and well, you never know, it can go fast, of course, but it's kind of an evenly match here. We're gonna look at the forces pretty soon. Okay, so we have some special rules as well. So we have the elite Argive 1000 here. Those guys are here in the center of the line. So as you can see, these guys are heavy infantry, and they will actually have 5 blocks. They don't get any extra dice because of the additional block, but they have a lot of staying power, I guess, and well, they fight with 5 dice, and that's good enough, I think. But that's not all. We have the Skiritai on the Spartan side. That's an Spartan elite force, shown here by these auxiliary unit. And the thing with those guys are that they can move 2 hexes and still battle. So they kind of work like light infantry in that sense. They also hit with leader symbol, even if there are no leader adjacent or attached to that unit. So they are really elite. I think those guys are actually the Skiritai name. I think it's a tribe name or something. Some people living in the hills of southern Peloponnesus, I think. So these guys are good hunters in the hills, and by that good light units who can good skirmishers, more or less. So they also can ignore 1 flag, so they are pretty elite actually, these guys. Even though they only battle, of course, with 3 dice in close combat and 2 in ranged combat, like a normal auxiliary in that sense. Then we have the hoplite infantry rule. Now I'm not sure how to interpret that rule regarding these heavy. I mean, these guys are for sure hoplites, but since they are marked as heavy infantry, I will actually not treat them as hoplites, just heavies. So this means if I get a mounted card for the Argives, where I can, activate hoplite units, I will not treat these guys as hoplites in that sense, and I will not be able to activate these heavy. I need to try to remember that. And the last one is that we have these Spartan special bronze block units. We have 3 of them in the center here, who are of course 5 block units. So here we got it set up. So we have this Skiritai there, in this kind of an isolated wing here of the Spartans. We can start there to check the forces. So the Skiritai and 2 hoplite units up front. In the back row we have on the far left some bow units. They are not within reach of any enemy yet, but well, we can move those guys up, I guess. We have some light cavalry and then a leader who's alone here. In the center we have King Agis himself with those 3 Spartan hoplite units there, backed up by these light infantry. And further to the right we have more hoplites. I think these guys are the Tegeans. And then we have light infantry and light cavalry on the far end. Then we have a kind of a second line here with more hoplites and some light infantry. So that's the Spartan line. But as you can see, we have loads of hoplites here. We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 and 9 units of hoplites. Pretty strong force. And 3 of those are those Spartans. On the Athenian right we have the first line, or I should say Argive force here, I think. So we have in the end we have some light units back there, and in front of them we have some slingers. Then we have the hoplite line with a leader. Then we have the Argive 1000, these deep phalanx here, elite units. And then we come to a kind of a second line here, light infantry there, and more lights behind those. Then we have a big load of hoplites here, all the way actually there. These are all hoplites, and then a leader. On the Athenian left we have some lights, 2 light cavalry, 1 with attached leader. If you barely seen there, but it's there. And then we have light infantry also on the front. Oh no, sorry, it's a slinger unit. So they are also not in reach of the enemy yet. And terrain-wise, we don't have much to speak about. We have these woods here, of course. All right, and as I said, we fight till 8 banners, so I expect these to take some while. And I'm not sure who starts. We need to check that. Let's see, where are you? There you go, Mantinea. Okay, actually it's the Argives who moves first in this battle. And just to check the name of the leader, so this guy here is a nameless one. Then we have, of course, Agis in the center, and we have on the Spartan right Hipponoidas there. And I think during the battle Hipponoidas got an order to march to the center to fill this gap, actually, but he didn't obey that order, or the order didn't reach him or whatever, but he didn't march there actually. I think that was what happened during the battle. On the Argive side we have Laches. He's the one attached to that light cavalry there. We have Nicostratus in the center, and then we have Thrasyllus over there. Okay. So, as I said, we start with the Argives, so let's see. Oh, maybe I should... Before we start, I forgot to mention some battle plans here. I think for the Argive army, I will try to repeat history here. I want to crush these guys. So, I think if I get the opportunity, I will advance here, get those Skiritai out of the way, and the hoplites, and then we have some easier kills here with some lights. And actually the Spartans here are quite close to their baseline, so you know, if we could get some retreat flags on those guys, they can be really quickly eliminated. Up here we are of course expecting a Spartan attack. So I think I will stay put with my hoplite line there, anchored by these Argive 1000. For the Spartans then, well, should we close that gap or not? I don't know. I don't sense that I want to move units from here at least over there. What I could do is to, if I get the opportunity to move these guys to close the line, in that sense, kind of weaken my left, but the main punch is here, so I want to move forwards on with my Spartans and Stygian allies here. So let's see how it turns out. So here's the Argive hand. We got medium troops and we got outflanked. Two interesting choices right from the start. I mean, we could order 5 hoplites with this card. Of course, we're not reaching any enemies yet, but we can start marching up here. The only bad thing is we march one step forward. We are in striking range of the Spartans first, so they can get the first hit on us. It would be nice to get the first hit here, of course. We could also do the outflanked and actually start with some skirmishing on both flanks. Maybe that's more a traditional way to start it up, and by that kind of, you know, force the Spartans to act, or they will be skirmished to death. So let's see, let's play that. So on this side I have the slingers already in position here, but who would be the second one then? I mean, I cannot pass through with those lights. So should I move those slingers? I think not. I will activate the slingers and nothing more on this flank actually. I will stay put. Yeah, I think so. And on this flank we are not in reach yet, but I will advance with my slinger so I can fire at someone. And why not start with some light cavalry harassment attacks as well. So for movement, those guys will not move. Here we will take one step forward towards here. And the light cavalry, if it's gonna attack, it needs to close in. We will of course put ourselves in range of the Spartan slingers here, but well, let's do like this, if that makes sense. I don't know. Okay, so let's start the battle. We can start on this flank then. I'll just start hitting those guys with I don't know, is this a good opening? No, actually this was already a difficult choice. Well, I want to put some fire on those guys, but I would like to put the fire with both units, so I will instead ride there. That's better. So now one die against that hoplite unit with a leader, and that's a hit. That's a hit by the light cavalry, and since it has a leader attached, we need to do the leader check. Nope. But a good start, good javelin throw from those skirmishers. And we put some slinger fire on that same unit. That's a miss. But I'm happy enough. And here, should we put some fire on those hoplites or the Solitaire? That's a good question. I'll attack the Solitaire. So a flag, but he can first of all ignore a flag, and then he's also supported, so nothing happened there. Okay, well, one block of hoplites down there at least. Could be worse. So another card for the Argives, and now let's see what hand the Spartans start with. Okay, they have a inspired left leadership, so we could activate a big bunch of these guys with this card and start our maneuver towards the center. That's not a bad option. We could also move 2 in the center, meaning we could start moving up with our hoplites, but only doing that with 2 units feels a bit... I don't know, it's not really good to only advance with 2 units, I feel. I mean, we can get overwhelmed by those enemy hoplites there. So I'm not too keen on this card right now. And heavy troops, of course we have no heavy troops on this side, so the only thing we could do with this card is to activate 1 unit. And I will not do that. So I will actually play these left. I want to start closing the line here. So I will activate the leader. I'll activate those hoplites, the Solitaire, and also my bow units at the end here. So these guys more or less just march 1 step here, Solitaire follows. We march the bow units into range, and now we can decide if you want to attach the leader to someone here. And I think I'll do that. I'll attach him with these guys here. The hoplite unit there. That's fine. Okay, so now we can fire with the bows, and I will fire at those hoplites with the leader there. It's 1 die because we moved, and that's a miss. So it's the Argives' turn again. Okay, they got 3 on this flank now, so we could continue with the skirmishing here. I'm pretty happy with that for now. So now we have 2 skirmishes in place, which is really good. We get a 2 dice attack here, and you know, we can also get Lychos with his light cavalry to attack as well. So we just ride him here and do an attack with him as well. Not bad at all. By the way, that was this card. So we start with the stationary cavalry. It's 2 dice against that hoplite unit there. And we got another hit. These guys are really wearing down by skirmish fire now. We need to check the leader again. Well, he's fine. But these guys are taking hits now, and that's not all. We got Lychos and his cavalry coming up, throwing their javelins, and they miss their target though. And then we have the slingers. They no more have the line of sight up there. So I guess we can start harassing that big fat Spartan hoplite unit there instead. So it's 2 dice against that 5 block unit. Nothing. But I think the Orgai player is really happy to wear down some hoplites here who could move and outflank us. This also means maybe the Spartans need to react here now, but they need a good card for that, of course. So let's see. Still 2 in the center, we have 1 heavy, and now we have this new card, Move, Fire, Move. And we could actually activate 6 light units with this card. Pretty good. How many fires can we get in? We can fire here, we can fire with a Solitaire. We could put in that light cavalry into fight. We can of course do some slinger fire here. We have a light cavalry back there. He will not reach any enemies, I guess. And then we have 2 lights back here who could just move, I think. And they can move twice, so they could put themselves in good position the second turn. Or the second move. So should we? I think we could. Let's answer the opening skirmishing here. So these guys will not move, so they can fire really good here. Let's do a strike with the cavalry. Just for me to remember, I moved it. I will put down 2 blocks so I don't throw too many dice there. These guys will move here. They will not fire, but I could move them again. So that's the 3rd guy. I think I'll activate the Solitaire as well. They will march up here. I also do that for those guys. They will only throw 1 die. These guys will attack. How many have I now activated? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I have 1 more I can move. Let's move up these guys from here. I will move them over towards the center. Okay, we're ready to battle then. So let's start here. We want to scare off those skirmishes now. So we will attack the guy on the flank here, because those guys don't have any support. So, you know, would we get like 2 flags, they start losing units or blocks. So let's see. We got nothing. Okay. Stones were not hitting those cavalry. Those cannot fire. Those cannot fire. Here we got the bow unit. We start with that. It's 2 dice against that hoplite unit with a leader. We want the blue one, please. No, we got a flag, but he will ignore that. We got these light cavalry. Let's keep that guy activated so I can move it if I want to. The cavalry attack those hoplites with 1 die. He's supported, so he will ignore that flag. Well, it's not a too good skirmish from the Spartans so far. Now we have the Solitaire. Let's see if the elite unit can do anything. They will roll 1 die against that hoplite with a leader. And they missed 2. Okay, so now at least I can move again. So I'll back this Solitaire to the line here. Oops. Like that. I will move back my cavalry. I will move them back here to support my line here. The bow unit, I think I'll stay put with those guys. You know, I'm still in range at least of the enemy now, staying here. How about these guys? I think I'll move them up just to, you know, be ready to harass that Argyle 1000 there. And I will also send up these skirmishers towards the center. And that's it. Well, not too many hits here, but I'm about to fulfill my attachment of the two separate lines here. So, it's the Argyle's turn again. Okay, so they still have these medium, and now they can activate 3 units up there. So, bad for them, they cannot continue with their harassment here. I think they would have preferred to do that, but now we need to react here instead. And you know what, I will start marching up towards those guys now. So I'll activate hoplites, and more hoplites. And start a kind of an oblique march here towards the center to meet the Sparta movement. And those guys can still attack. These guys just move up into striking range. I know I now could be hit hard by the Spartans here. But I feel I have more units coming in. Also those guys, so we can manage. So, we will attack the light infantry, who will for sure do an evasion here. 2 hexes back. But I still get that 4 dice attack, and all greens will hit. And you see we got 2 of them, so the lights were a bit too brave there to go for so far. So I cannot momentum advance here, of course, but I'm happy with that hit. And well, the Spartan has taken some hits now, and no blocks yet down from the Argive army. So that was the 3 units right for the Argives. It's really time for King Agis and his Spartans to respond and do something here. So what can we do? Lights, center, or that heavy unit? Well, I don't see any other real good thing to do there but respond by just skirmishing away. So I can order 6 lights, which is good. 1, we got 2, we got 3, we got 4, we got 5, and I think I'm happy with that. So let's move these guys up here then. These guys will stay put. They will pour some fire on the approaching enemy there. Now let's ride up these guys up here. Oops. Like that. So I think I got a pretty good skirmishing fire option here now coming. So let's see if we can do any damage this time on this flank. More stones pouring into that cavalry unit on the edge there, on the line, and this time we missed. All right, bad skirmishing tactics there again. These guys will, well, they have only one target and they have moved, so we will get one die attack against that hoplite unit there. And we want a blue. No, we got a red. So no hit there. Let's take this Solitaire. No, I will actually fire with... We could push those guys back if we get the flag. And that would... Well, that could be an interesting option, trying to push those hoplites back on the edge there. But it's of course good if you can hit that leader unit. But it's really, it's always a small chance to actually hit that leader. So let's do like this. The bow unit will attack that hoplite unit on the edge that are not supported. The bow unit did not move, so he got 2 dice, and it was a complete miss. This Solitaire will attack the same unit, 2 dice. Let's see if they are any elite. Alright, first hit here. That was good. No flag though, so these hoplites are staying put. But we got the first block there for the Argives. And then we have the light cavalry. Let's do the same. Attack the same unit. It's only 1 die now because they moved. And that was a miss. Well, not a great skirmishing here. And I was actually hoping to get a flag on those guys so we could push them back. Now they are still in striking range and they have the leader with them, so they can get good hits on us. Alright. By that I think I'll end this session here and upload this video, and as always, thank you for watching, and I hope you will get back to see how this develops. See you later. Bye bye.